Alright, so that's a set of those rough country fender deletes. Good thing about these is they can pop off and on, put the factory flares back on when you don't know them. Also need to get one of these nut cert tools. So here we go.
So I got my iPad up for a reference, but basically you're drilling out, you see where these outline with the dirt? That's the holes you're basically drilling out. And the drill bit they tell you to use is like a, I can't remember the size off the top of my head, but it's in the instructions. But anyway, so you basically just, you know, these holes, and like I said, they're barely bigger than that because it takes like, they're like 2 seconds on each one. And that's what you'll put your nut certs into. So you do these on every one that it calls for. And like I said, it shows you up here in the instructions. I saved the instructions, so it tells you exactly which ones to go with. So you're just doing that, and then you'll put the nut cert in. And then that's pretty much that, and the little fender things at the bottom over here. I'll show you that here in just a moment. That, you're pretty much ready to roll. So it's pretty quick and easy install. And the nut certs, they stay in there all the time. Even when you take the fender lead off, that's where you put your other things. A little tip from me. Doesn't really explicitly say this in directions, but you'll see in directions it tells you to put this mount in here. So holding that in place where you're trying to screw this thing in is damn near impossible. So I'm going to put a nut thread in here just slightly so I can hold on to it and position it while I put that nut up in there. Because as you can see, and that goes through there to the other L of the bracket. So now I have some control. So anyway, I'm going to point that out to you, and that'll be easier said than done. Here's the bracket. So the thread goes in this hole, through that factory hole, and then into that hole. So just want to point that out to you. So the instructions do tell you, you have to drill out some of the holes. Now you'll go in here and you'll take these off with a 10mm, these bolts here in the back. This is only the rear fender. But as you'll see, it does tell you to drill out the smaller side of the fender rim to make it using a 25 64-inch drill bit, which I have. So I'm going to look at this picture right here to determine which exactly holes I need, which is not hard because they're pretty much all unique. So like this one would be the first one, and then there's another one right here, and then I think there's yet another one right here. And you can kind of see the outline with the old finger thing with us. It's also on there. And then there's a couple more back here, that you have. But the nut cert will go back in these holes. Looks like where these things screws come out. I'm not going to take these out just yet. I'll go ahead and get the holes bigger, and then we'll go from there. Well, rough country I just don't have good luck with them. I just don't like the fit of these that great. I mean, they look okay, but there's a huge gap. Let me stick the end of my finger here. Now I notice I can't get up against it because that's the door. But the biggest thing is on the two rear pieces, there were two different instances where the bolts easily cross-thread into the nut cert, and I couldn't figure out why on this one. So I ended up having to cut the head of the bolt off for now until I figure out how to get that nut cert out of there. And I just dabbed it with some black paint so it wouldn't stick out, because the rest of the bolts are holding this in pretty flush. But disappointing. Most people probably never notice this. On the rear passenger side too. Notice this thing right here. You can go in, or you can pull out. That's how far it should be in. Letting it sit like that, it's not too noticeable for now. Like I said, until I figure out how to get the nut cert out. But there again, I don't know if it's because these holes didn't match up quite right and it got turned. As you can see, this thing's turned. But they're very easy to cross through. Once you cross through it, it's too late. And it's like I'm usually pretty good at feeling that. But these were so cheap and flimsy, it just kind of did it. So, I want to love Rough Country. I want to give them a good shout out because they're a Tennessee-based company. My home state, go Vols. But I just don't have good luck with them. The front ones turned out perfect. Like I said, there's a little bit of a gap between the top here and the edge of the fender. I can live with that, I guess. I mean, the whole purpose of these is that I can throw the factory flares back on as needed. And to be honest with you, I'll probably only have this like this mostly when I'm off-roading. But I have to admit, though, this kind of grow on me. A lot of people like the flares better.
I think you can make an argument either way. The only thing I'm really worried about is this thing slinging up crap. Even though I do have PPF, still has its limits as well. So anyway, hope you guys like and subscribe. Got more stuff to come in the near future.